Welcome to Midnight Movie Talk live from a rainy Los Angeles here on this Tuesday night, and we are going to do it no matter what the haters say. We are going to do the worst films of 2022. Now, if you remember, Variety had an article last week or so listing their two main film critics, their worst films of the year. And then film Twitter erupted. That's not nice. How dare you? People work hard on these films. What are you doing, Variety? And isn't that just film Twitter in a nutshell, right? Always outraged over something. You guys are being mean. Stop being mean. My God. Imagine being raised in this generation where you can't be mean. We were mean as hell to each other. Gen X, are you kidding me? That's all we were. And you know what? We're okay today. And you will be too when we savage these films tonight. The worst of 2022. So let's go. Bottom 10 of the year. Now, for those of you saying that, hey, I really want to see your best of, we're going to do that on Thursday. Let's do the worst and then go to the best. And by the way, really weird transition for me tonight. I saw Tar for the second time finally tonight. I was waiting to see it on the big screen again. And that is going from one of, hint, the best films of the year to this tonight. The worst films I don't want to think about again. So I kind of want to get through this list quickly and get to whatever films you have that are your worst of 2022. But it's mean. Stop being mean. Number 10, David Cronenberg's back with the thrilling story of the autopsy of an 8-year-old boy. That is the centerpiece of Crimes of the Future. For those of you who haven't seen the quote film, consider yourself very lucky that you didn't have to sit through 2+ hours, if I'm not mistaken, it was over 2 hours, of David Cronenberg with people and kids eating inanimate objects and having autopsies done. And who could forget the chairs that stroke them as they ate things like plastic and metal. This was Crimes of the Future, a film that I have not thought about since I saw it way back in the summer. And I go, oh man, this is terrible. Crimes of the Future, a crime against cinema. David Cronenberg, your number 10. Number 9, about the same time of the year, this film showed up. A24. I'm like, okay, hey, A24. Here's the thing. A24 films, you're either going to love or you're going to hate. That's traditionally where I fall on these. It's very rare that you get an A24 film that you're in the middle. Like, it's okay. No, you're going to have a very strong reaction one way or the other for me, and you'll see that when we get to the best of the year. You're going to see some A24 films there. But we have men. Alex Garland, and you go back and you look at Alex Garland and you just Ex Machina, right? That's all you have. That's it. Some of you are going to say Annihilation. No. Ex Machina. And then to go from Ex Machina to Men. Wow. You talk about, this is the year. You're going to notice a theme here throughout the evening. This was the year that we had prestige directors release their worst films that they have created. This is their worst year across the board. Wait till we get to the bottom 5. I'm pretty sure they're all, I know 4 of them are. I don't remember what the hell I have at number 5. We're going to find out together. This was the year we had directors that you expected more from and we got less out of. And Men is a great example of that with Alex Garland. You have Jessie Buckley trapped in a house, getting over the suicide of her, at this point, we're going to do spoilers. Give me a break, guys. The suicide of her fiance / husband, I remember at this point. And Roy Kinnear, who's a hell of an actor and has to play all the roles here. All the different men that come in and psychologically torture Jessie Buckley in the house in the middle of nowhere, England. And that was a brutalizing watch. And it made it so much more so by the fact that it's from Alex Garland, a guy who I loved Ex Machina, admired Annihilation, and now he's at Men. So here's number one of directors that really let us down. I mean, we really go Cronenberg too, but it's been forever for Cronenberg. But yes, that's two major directors with crap films. Number 8 is a film that I literally snoozed through a very large portion of. Well, I mean, I was still awake. You know, you need to take like one of those quasi naps. You're still alert and you're listening, but you're not really paying attention. This was Fantastic Beasts: Secrets of Dumbledore. And thank God that at my theater down the street at AMC Burbank, there was no one next to me so I could lift up the armrest and snooze to the most boring Harry Potter tangential story that Warner Brothers could ever greenlight. And thanks to Dumbledore in this film that was incredibly inert, you might see the end of the wizarding world of Harry Potter. You got to bring Harry back at this point after Dumbledore just buried the franchise. Number 7 is a film that if you go back and watch any stream, just watch one stream from MMT's initial year here, 2022, the christening of MMT. Go back and watch my reaction coming out of the premiere of The Gray Man here in Los Angeles. That is pure entertainment. I was so angry. I was so let down by the Russos. Another directorial, in this case, duo, who let us down. All of these films, except for Dumbledore, I don't know who the hell directed that, I forget. But these films are from directors who should be better. I mean, Endgame, Infinity War. Forget about Cherry. Cherry's terrible. So now the Russos have Cherry, and now they had Gray Man. They are on a huge losing streak right now. In fact, I do have to now grab my Gray Man popcorn box to fully christen number 7, The Gray Man. Let me tell you why the film is so terrible. For those of you that have not had the displeasure of watching this film, The Gray Man is, for those of you who want to make films one day, you know, up and coming director, watch The Gray Man to see how you do not edit a film. I have never in my life, honestly, I don't believe I ever have, seen a film with more unnecessary edits in one single scene of action. Like, here we go. Here comes the machine gun fire. We're in the middle of the street. We're going to take an angle from every possible conceivable idea that you could come up with, under the car, on top of the car, across from the building over there. Let's mish them all together, mishmash them, and then we have our scene. Horrible. And Chris Evans doesn't work here. Ryan Gosling, I like Ryan Gosling, but I mean, sometimes he's just kind of boring to watch, right? I mean, he is when he doesn't want to be boring. Sometimes it's okay if he's boring, like Drive. He's very kind of just understated, and he's doing his thing. He's a mysterious guy. It works. But here, it just doesn't work. It's a bad film. It's number 7. It's not the worst film of the year, though. We're climbing to that number. We're getting there. Patience, everybody. Number 6, The Fabelmans. Speaking of directors who let us down in 2022, Steven Spielberg is right up there with a number of them you're going to see here in a moment. The Fabelmans was such a letdown because what I was told from everyone who came out of the initial screening in Toronto, right? The film festival reactions this year. Oh my God. The Fabelmans. It is a masterpiece of storytelling. It is the film we've waited Steven Spielberg's entire career to have, and here it is. The Fabelmans feels as fake as any film that I watched this year. And considering it's based on Steven Spielberg's life, you would hope it would be grounded. You would hope that you would see performances that felt like they were authentic, as opposed to Michelle Williams, who is a Razzie-worthy level here. I mean, this is just so over the top. The only one who comes out good is Gabriel, the young Steven Spielberg. He's very good. But the rest of the film, I would argue, the edits in the film, the screenplay, it's barely cohesive. The film finally gets going in the last 5 minutes. That's how you know you're in a bad film. When at the end of the film, you're like, oh, this is good. And then it's over. You're like, oh, God. The Fabelmans, number 6. Number 5, another A24 film. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Do you even remember this one? Well, the millennials and Gen Zers do, right? They all love this one. All the film Twitter young folk. Oh, Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. What a film. Oh, God, yeah, it was. Featuring the most annoying collection of characters and performances in one film this year. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. A film that had me at times wanting to jump up and tear the screen down with how annoying it was. Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. Absolutely horrible. Number 4, Amsterdam. Directors who disappointed us. David O. Russell. Now, I know a lot of you are like, David O. Russell hasn't had that great a career. Listen, he has had some very strong films. I mean, for me, I go back to not Silver Linings Playbook. I know that's the first, you guys are like, oh, that's what. No, for me, it's probably American Hustle. I would even say Joy is more to me than Silver Linings Playbook. But this year we got Amsterdam, a train wreck, right? I said when you get to the definition of misfire, there is going to be in future generations a picture, a still from Amsterdam, a film that was, I don't know what the hell it was even trying to do. It was some kind of comedy. I mean, Christian Bale was trying to save this film, but there was no saving it. There was no redemption for Amsterdam. I mean, this was a bomb. This is a film that I don't think anybody I heard liked it. Do you know anybody who said that Amsterdam was good? I don't think I know anybody. But the reason it's number 4 is at least it was watchable and I didn't want to get up and leave. I mean, I was thinking about it. But as we go down here from to 3 to 2 into 1, the other films are ones that I strongly consider getting up and leaving. Okay? Certainly number 2 and number 1. Number 3 is the biggest abomination of 2022. Halloween Ends. You're asking why. I hope to God you're not asking why. One name. Corey. It's your fault. Corey, you're to blame. Actually, it's not. It is Corey's fault, but it's really, when you think about it, it's about the choices made in story here. You are going to push Michael Myers aside in the final film of the Halloween franchise. You're going to push him aside for Corey, the nerd who is accidentally, by not watching the kid he was babysitting at the beginning. By the way, that's the only good scene in the film. The film's freaking awesome at the beginning. Kid falls off the balcony. You're, oh my God, this movie. And then poor Corey, who's traumatized, obviously, by that. Now, somehow, the spirit of Michael Myers gets into Corey, and we have 2 Michael Myers on the screen at one time in the pool house. That scene, I couldn't believe what I was watching. And the fact that Universal said, let's make this film. This is the one that we want to end the franchise with. Horrible. Halloween Ends, number 3. There's 2 left, and I think you guys can imagine and you can guess right now. Everyone throw a guess out. You have 2 left. What do you think is number 2? And what do you think is number 1? Come to the comments right now and see who gets number 2 and who gets number 1. I am waiting with bated breath. Can you guess number 2 or number 1? I'm running out of patience. Type in your answer. Hold on. Okay, you guys ready? Number 2 is Babylon. Directors who let us down in 2022. Directors of pedigree. Directors who gave us great films in the past and then took a dump in the year 2022. And no film better symbolizes that than Babylon. where Damien Chazelle opens up his own film by having an elephant take a shit on the audience. There. How is this not number one? I mean, honestly, now that I think about it, what did I do? What have I done? How did I allow another film to beat Babylon? Other things that are completely and utterly atrocious about Babylon. The runtime, for starters. A 3-hour movie that could have easily been told in under 2. But because Damien Chazelle is the Wonder Kid, and we will always cherish him for his Whiplash, his La La Land, and to a lesser extent, but still, First Man, we have this now. And I posed this question the other day on Twitter. Has there been a director who's had a bigger stock drop-off from his last film, First Man, to his now film, Babylon, than Damien Chazelle? And by the way, that gives Margot Robbie 2 movies in the bottom 10 films of 2022. Amsterdam and Babylon. I don't necessarily think it's her fault. It's not that she's bad in either one of them. She just made terrible decisions. But let's not blame Margot Robbie, because she made the decision to sign on for Amsterdam and Babylon based on what we've been talking about all night here, the pedigree of the director who was making the film, David O. Russell and Damien Chazelle. So you can't blame Margot Robbie. It's not her fault. But she just picked the worst possible year to say yes to both of those accomplished directors. Babylon is number 2, which means you guys know what is number 1, Damien Chazelle's masterpiece, Babylon. You guys know what is number 1, JM, bring it. It is time for, ladies and gentlemen, the number 1 worst film of 2022. It is The Whale. It blows everything out of the water. The worst screenplay that I think I can remember of recent. I mean, I've got to go back. I don't even know how long I have to go back to find a screenplay as terrible and as poorly executed as The Whale. And here's where you feel bad. Before, we just felt bad for Margot Robbie. In this case, it's much worse, because you really feel the crushing blow for Brendan Fraser, who is so grounded within this dumpster fire of a script. And for those of you who have not had the pleasure, quote unquote, big air quotes on that, of watching The Whale, there could not be more ridiculousness when it comes to character, introduction, and involvement within a film. You have a missionary. I don't care if I spoil the movie for you guys. There's nothing to spoil with The Whale. It is terrible. The missionary comes in and he tries to save Brendan Fraser, who sits around and eats 3 Musketeer bars all day in his place. Who the hell thought this was good? Who are the critics that said The Whale was an emotional, absolute devastation of a film? The devastation I felt was sitting in the screening room going, when is this going to be over? And strongly contemplating leaving the theater. The Whale, the worst film of 2022. It is now time for you guys to go whatever you want. You're going to say, where's Morbius? Where is all these other? I understand you guys have other films, but you guys know I do not like these films, so I'm going to. Solomon, you were close. I really could have flipped them. It's very close. They're so close that I think no. Hey, listen, I didn't watch Pinocchio Disney Plus. I'm sure it's terrible. So I need to say, please know this, that there are some films I didn't get to, such as Pinocchio. Okay. I didn't want to waste the time. Here's the thing about my list. Let's make this perfectly clear. My list was largely based on the expectation level versus what we got. So if you're wondering why, where's Morbius? Well, my expectations for Morbius were like as low as they could be. So, when I watched a film that was at least, you know, manageable to get through, then I can't put it on the worst of. When I'm going to watch The Whale, and I've been told by everyone who saw it at the festivals that, oh my God, The Whale, this is a film that you should really consider for Best Picture, Best Screenplay for not just Brendan Fraser, and then you watch the film, then you go, oh, okay, this is where this is where the juices get flowing. Like, this is where I get like literally Hulk, because I can't comprehend where that mindset comes when you watch the actual product. It's easy to target Morbius. It's easy to target Pinocchio, the Disney one, right? I'm sure. I'm going to trust you. I'm not going to watch it. I'm not going to watch the film. But these are films that are not, right, the obvious ones, because it'd be easy to go Morbius number 1, Pinocchio number 2. No, I just went with Babylon, Whale, Fabelmans, all these films, Halloween Ends. Now granted, Halloween Ends is going to be on a lot of people's list, but the rest of them are not obvious, but yet they are all very, very deserving. C.D. Stein, good evening to you. It's funny the reaction at the film festivals. You'd have thought The Whale was the next Citizen Kane. This is my thing with the film festival crowd. They are completely unreliable, right? I mean, when you watch The Whale and then you go back and you read some of those first reactions, you say, it's over, right? I mean, it's over. And I've said this before. I know some people are like, you're going really hard on The Whale and Babylon and all this. But here's the thing, is there's certain films, and I will always stick to this. I'm sorry. It's the reality. There are certain films you cannot be wrong on, right? They are just so abhorrent and so poorly executed and just borderline unwatchable that when someone recommends it, you just take whatever credibility you have and you just shatter it, right? It's in a million pieces. It's over. And The Whale is one of those films for me. Babylon is absolutely one of those films. Halloween Ends as well. If you're defending Halloween Ends, I mean, it's over. These films, there's no redemption for them. I mean, you can single out Brendan Fraser in The Whale, and you can say, okay, we can extract that and say he's good. But everything around him, right? Just like Babylon. Someone was saying earlier, hey, you didn't like the scene in Babylon where you had Margot Robbie doing her first talkie, right? And they had to go through 100 takes of it and everyone on the stage is losing their mind. That's a great scene. The problem is there's that great scene. There's Brad Pitt being told it's the end of his career, right? It's over. Those two scenes. And then everything else outside of that is the dumpster fire, and it encompasses those two scenes. So how can you just say it's redemption by that? And you can't. And in this case with The Whale, you can't, because of Brendan Fraser, how great, doesn't matter how good he is, the film's terrible. So there's no way out of it. Film festivals are film Twitter in the wild. Patrick, isn't it true? It's so true. That they're just film Twitter. I'm telling you, I mean, film Twitter loves me. And I love film Twitter just as much. By the way, we got to get into this too at some point tonight. I put a tweet out today, and now that we're done with the worst of, we can still do this. This stream is going to be completely wild tonight, because at this point, the worst films are over. I want to get that boom, right, for the replay value. But those of you who want to see 10 worst films, there they are. The rest of this is going to be all kinds of stuff. And one thing I want to mention that I want to get to is today, and this was funny to me, okay? I mentioned this on a stream the other day. I said, listen, hey, who are the biggest shills out there, right? Who are the biggest shills out that are working in the film criticism business? So here we go. Let's pull it up. Where's the tweet I sent earlier? Give me a second. Give me 1 minute. I'm going through it. I sent too many tweets. I apologize for that. That's on me. I really promise to not tweet as much. Okay, look here. So here it is. Who's the biggest shill in all of film criticism, in quotes? Top 3 nominees get put into a final vote showdown. Who do you got? Okay, so right now, do this. Go ahead. But here's the thing. Is that a lot of people are like, I don't know if I want to do this. Here's the thing. Look at this idiot. Look at, hey, Charlie Bright. I had to block this guy because he is literally empty-brained. I can't deal with these people. So Charlie Bright's like, hold on, let me see. Charlie Bright's like, hold on, let's read what he said. He said, it me. Like, dude, come on, guys. Listen. Let's be honest. Come into the comments and tell me. You can call me many things. The absolute literally last thing that you can bring to me is calling me a shill. Like that's just look at what I just did with that worst films of the year. Do you think that the real shills would do that? Of course they're not going to. So this guy, this fool, look at this guy. It's me. I am. And I go, yeah, okay, this screams shill. And there's my review for The Whale. Cloying, manipulative, and grotesquely artificial. Yeah, that's a shill. These people are so dumb. I mean, and you know what they are usually? They're just miserable people, and I just laugh at them, but I just need it. Come on, guys. Who are the biggest shills? And someone said Feinberg. That's one. Give me shills. Give me as many shills as possible, and I'll go to more questions. But I really think we almost need to do a stream about that because film Twitter is going to lose their minds. I feel like it's just better on a stream to list the shills, and that's it. You know what, Josh? I swear to you, if I was you're in Oklahoma, right? If I was in Oklahoma, I would come pound on your door and we would get into it. Now, I think you'd kick my ass. I'm not going to do that. But here, okay, just so you know, he's alluding to this. Here it is. So, okay, so I shot this video today. My legs are not big, but I'll have you guys know that what you're seeing there on your screen is 42-inch box jump. That's not 36. That's not 32. That's a 42. So that is 3.5 feet from it's a few feet off. I'm not like going straight up. Look, it's a good jump across. So yes, but my legs are thin, but whatever, man. I can jump. I told you guys I play volleyball. So leave me alone, chicken legs. You guys are the worst. Fine, whatever. I don't care. Soups is the ultimate shill. He would be right there. Modern Scripts Productions, welcome to the channel. He would be there for sure. I just don't know what did Gore say. Well, oh no, what did Gore say? I missed it. Is shill? Here's the thing. When I say shill, okay, a shill is not somebody who promotes themselves. That's not. You guys know that. That's what these people. He promotes himself. He's a shill. Give me a break. That's so dumb. These people. It's like having arguments with low IQ human beings. It's just useless. I can't do it anymore. But no, you guys know what a shill is. A shill is somebody who consistently and incessantly praises every single film they see. There's never going to be a review, a tweet, anything, a reaction from a person that says something is grotesquely artificial. I mean, no shill would ever say that. So don't come in here and be disingenuous and pretend you don't know what a shill is. Like my boy had to block. What's his name? Mr. Nerdorama. Where is he? Always the nerdiest guy. Look at this guy. Hold on. Where is he? Where's that nerd? They're all nerds. There's another nerd that came over like, you guys, you know what someone said, and this is true, and then we'll go back to what everyone do. The Fandango guy. For me, okay, here we go. JM. Bring me these in the comments so I can actually do, either we're going to do a stream or I'm actually going to do it live. Scott Feinberg. Pete Hammond, Scott Mans, Clayton Davis, Peter Travers. Okay, I had 3 of them on my list. 3 of these were on my list today. Only there's one other one I had, and someone just mentioned it. It's here, Eric Davis. And here again, listen, guys. Here's all right, listen. No, fine. There is nothing wrong with being a nerd. I mean, ultimately, so am I. I mean, if you guys saw me like in middle school, be like, that guy's the biggest dork ever. So trust me. Okay, so when I mention these guys like Eric Davis or Scott Mans or Pete Hammond, here's the reality of it: is that it's not personal. You guys have to understand. This is not personal. This is calling them out for being a shill. So, if you don't like that, then don't be a shill. If you call me a shill, I laugh. I go, it's embarrassing. Stop. You can say arrogant. And I'd say, well, I mean, it comes off that way. It's kind of more of an act. Okay, you guys, if those of you haven't figured it out, it's kind of an act. It's kind of like a pro wrestling kind of thing, going back to my wrestling days, like a manager, right? That kind of, but whatever, these people don't. So here's the reality is that if you don't like it, if Mance doesn't like it, if Eric Davis doesn't like it, if Pete Hammond doesn't like being called a shill, here's the easy way to correct it. Send a tweet that looks a lot like my whale tweet that called it grotesquely artificial. You're not going to find one from Eric Davis. You're not going to find one from Scott Mans. You're not going to find from Mans. Let's use him. Mans is going to say something like, well, it wasn't really for me, but, right, quick pivot. It wasn't for me, but that's the best they're going to do. They're never going to say the truth about it. I know I didn't really think it worked, but. No. Eric Davis will never do it. I mean, that dude is the ultimate shill. Okay, I'm going to put it to a vote, but I'm just going to tell you guys now. There's no one who's a bigger shill than that guy. And he blocked me on Twitter a long time ago because I called him a shill. I'm like, whatever, man. The thing is if you guys come and call me a shill, I'm going to say, like that guy today. I'm like, come on, man. Are you kidding me? Like, that's not true. Come up with something else. Tell me I have on, and this is, by the way, when I picked tonight's soccer kit / football jersey / football kit, I said this is one that's going to be very polarizing. This is going to be one that you guys, some of you are going to say it's great. Some of you are going to say, my God, it's hideous. Very much like tonight's worst of that we're doing. Some of you are going to go, I don't agree with any of this. So tonight, Cerezo Osaka from J League in Japan. And it's one, I love it because it's just like, it's crazy. It's got pink. That's why everything's pink tonight. But for some of you, like, my God, I would never wear that. But that's the beauty of this. All right, let's get back to your films, worst films of the year. And then let's go to whatever you want to do. I mean, whatever you want to go. Yep. I mean, there's not even a question about that. There's not even a question. It's just true. No, I was not a wrestling manager. I'm saying, but Kevin, what I'm saying is that's kind of the thing I'm going for when I do this, like the Twitter thing and some of the stuff here. It's almost like a wrestling manager, right? Trying to rile people up. It's not really like, it's never like personal. I mean, wrestling managers do it, but you know what I mean? It's not like the thing is, it's weird is that I don't usually get personal. Now you're going to say calling Eric Davis as a shill is personal, but it's not, because it's true, right? It really is true. It's objectively true that these are not critics, right? Not a critic. I mean, at all. A critic is somebody who is going to savage a film, love a film, destroy, praise. That's a critic, right? Eric Davis doesn't do that. Scott Mans rarely, if ever, does it. Scott Feinberg rarely, if ever. Pete Hammond rarely, if ever. These are shills. And the reason they're shills is because they want to be in good with the studios. They work at an outlet such as Deadline, such as THR, Variety, Mance used to be Access Hollywood, KTLA. They want the access. So when you go out and you savage a film like I've done with any name of film, I mean, even going back to, look at Babylon. Do you think that Damien Chazelle ever wants to see me come into an event? I mean, it's not that personal, just Babylon's really, truly an atrocious film. And it's unfortunate because you're a director of talent, but this is not it. This is, I mean, someone even said the other day, it's one of the worst films I've ever seen. And I go, well, yeah. I mean, yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, just be real. Big Screen Leaks is a guy. Yeah, I think I got rid of that dude. He was a shill. And, and these people with I've got the deets. I've got the exclusive. Let's do a bunch of breaking news, and most of them, they're usually wrong. Critics should at least, exactly, Eddie. This is how you avoid being called a shill. You are critical from when the time comes. You have to lower the boom on a film, as I did with every one of these films. Look again, real quickly. Every one of these films I just savaged. Everyone, go back and listen to it again if you want. These are all the 10 worst films of the year for me. All 10 of these films I destroyed, okay? On social media, here on the stream. The shills can't do a stream like this. Mans couldn't do a stream like this. Eric Davis sure as hell couldn't do a stream like Pete Hammond couldn't do a stream like this. So why are you listening to them? That's the thing, is people can say whatever they want and critique me and say this and that, but you can't say that I am not objective and I do not play favorites. I do not have an agenda. That's the thing that drives these people crazy. They go, what's wrong with this guy? I can't figure him out because I don't have an agenda. Imagine that. If you don't have an agenda, then you're always going to surprise people because you're just going based on the value of what you're watching at that moment. When you have an agenda, you're going to raise or lower your score for certain things, such as the pedigree of director, such as the sex of director, such as the studio, whatever it is, the star. You're going to make some adjustments to how you critique the film. I don't ever do that. Everything is level. Right? The graphic equalizer is set at 0. There's no modulating. Everything's at 0. We're watching the film and we're going to raise or lower based on what's there, not on what is before from director, star, studio. Doesn't matter. These other people don't understand that, or they just aren't able to get to that point. And it's very disappointing because in this world we live in now, right? In this world we just have been through for the last 2+ years of COVID and all the fear mongering. If you ever wanted to be critical and objective, this is the time in history. This is it. And if you're still not able to get to that point after 2 years of what we've been through, watch out, this is going away from movies right now, then you better snap into it because some shit's going down and you better start getting objective, right? Without getting all political, get critical, get objective, get your agenda out of the way. Be open to the possibility that you could be wrong. And I am too. I mean, listen, when I went into The Whale, to Babylon, to Fabelmans, I was ready to say one of the best movies of the year. Let's go. It's Spielberg. It's Chazelle. It is, what the hell was the other one? Aronofsky. So you got those three. These are great films. But then you watch the film. And that's how you have to be. It's not hard, guys. It's really, really simple. Well, it's for some people it's hard. I don't understand why. It's just weird. Okay, let's. If you want to jump in on a right off the bat, you get in with the super chat. And by the way, what an amazing Christmas show! The $50 super chat. Like, wow, we've won the lottery, everybody. But you know what that speaks to? What that tells me is, and I'm very excited to have that feeling, is that for those of you that appreciate it, you do appreciate what we do here. And that means a lot to me because that's the point of this, is to send out into the world. At times it's pretty intense. I'm not going to lie to you guys. At times I've had people in the comments saying you're really being brutal on The Whale, on Babylon, and you're being mean. And I get it. I understand that I can be that way. And I'll try to, soften the edges slightly. But that's who I am, very passionate. And what I believe, but I also will listen to other people. Just be respectful. Now, if I do say, if you said The Whale is great, then you're wrong, that's not saying that you're dumb as hell, okay? There's a difference there. I just think you're wrong, right? It's when it gets personal, and that's what happens on Twitter a lot. People are like, oh, well, you are an idiot. And then people just go, oh, dude, there it is. You've lost because all you can come up with is that. You're a loudmouth. Oh, no, you didn't just call me that. Please say it's not so. Gone Girl, welcome back to the channel. Missed you, my man. Crimes of the Future, Chainsaw Massacre, 355. 355 was so boring, but it wasn't offensively terrible. Blonde, I didn't get to. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I never got to Blonde. Men, bad. Gray Men, as you guys know, top 10 worst films. Aftersun, no way. That's it, Gone Girl. You need to leave now. Aftersun is a movie. Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. It is. And I understand that it's going to be polarizing for some, but the artistry of Charlotte Wells' Aftersun is absolutely something to take note of and put on your best of the list. I understand if it didn't quite work for you emotionally, because maybe, if you didn't. Here's the truth. I mean, Aftersun is going to destroy you if you have kids. It's good if you have a relationship with your father in particular. It will destroy you. The time lost and never to be regained. That's the magic and the devastation of Aftersun. I'm here for The Whale and Babylon thrashing. We've done it. I mean, I could do it again. There's whole streams of that. There's whole streams of me detonating both those films. So I figure you can go back. I don't know if I can muster the strength anymore. That was like my last gasp of the worst of the year. I think in the spirit of Christmas, Eric should do this episode with his shirt. You guys know, time to time. One more time. Okay, I'm not only one more time. I want to show you guys the jump at the gym. Only one more time. Here it is. There it is. Let me address one more thing about the video you're watching right now. So when I go to the gym, I'm not going to lie to you guys, kind of like my football kits you see here. I like to get geared up. So I got geared up. I've got a jersey on. I got tights and of course, the orange and yellow. Would you expect anything less from me? It's just what it is. Watch, Josh, you will get banned. It takes one bad comment to remove you from the entire stream forever. Tar is amazing. I stand by that for the second time. I can't wait to tell you my best of 2022. That's coming up. That'll be so much easier because there's so much to say for me about all those films. The hard part about doing a worst of is that you don't even want to think about them again. So you want to get through the 10 as fast as possible. I think I did tonight. I think that was perfect. There's not much more to be said. What a Babylon. Yeah, I mean, God, wow, Babylon. So bad. Thor Love and Thunder. Get out. I know some of you can come after me. You're like, you said Thor Love and Thunder was, elite Marvel. Listen, Thor Love and Thunder, very fun film. I had a blast with it. It's certainly more fun than Doctor Strange and Black Panther Wakanda Forever, right? So uh, listen, it's the best MCU film of the year for me by far. The Batman's the best comic book movie. No question, right? And then Thor Love and Thunder for me as just an entertaining throwaway film. I understand the stakes aren't very high. I get it. I know. But that's the thing. It was a summertime film. What do you want? Paws of Fear I didn't see. Halloween Ends for sure. Fantastic Beasts, 100% Lonely Lizards. You know it. I mean, we got to a lot of those. In the Company of Men is a better version. That's a good film, as a matter of fact. Deep Water. I didn't watch it. I think that was last year, Sharma. I believe that was Deepwater, or was it early this year? Maybe you're right. I didn't get to it. I apologize. Some of these films I didn't get to, so I appreciate we can do that. Did COVID attack directors' brains? There could be something to that, because we mentioned all of the directors of merit that came into this year with a really strong pedigree, and you go to Cronenberg, Garland for me, certainly Chazelle and David O. Russell and Aronofsky, and who else do we have in there? You have a bunch of Spielberg. You have a bunch of directors that issued some of their worst films in 2022. So maybe there is something to that tied into COVID thing. Maybe because of the constraints that shooting a film with COVID restrictions provides, then possibly that is something to look into. See, Patrick, that's a very wise comment that I would never even have thought of. But maybe because they're all were shot right in the middle of COVID stuff. But so was Tar. And then look at what Tar. Come on, don't listen to Josh, because he's 100% wrong. The tension is palpable. Oh, it was fun. Oh, I'm going way back. I didn't get through all these. I'm so sorry. Let's go. Let's gun through this. Bodies made 14 million. As usual, film Twitter is a great negative barometer of quality and real impact. Patrick, I feel like at some time I'm just going to step off the mic and just read Patrick comments, because they are so good every single time. Not the rest. I'm not saying that, but this is usually right. Film Twitter is always pumping up something. Like Babylon was the one. They were all saying how great Babylon was until it bombed. Now they're all trying to get out and under from the. No, I never said Babylon was great. If you're defending Babylon, it's fine. That's your decision, but your reputation's gone. It's up in it's a blaze. It's over. It's the dumpster fire. The movie's a dumpster fire, and so is your credibility going forward. I mean, it's so terrible. Good question. What do you think makes a good director? Well, I just came out of a film that I think is the best directed film of the year. Now, it changes for every single film, every single director. I don't think it's always the same. Todd Field. And when you look at Tar, and we're going to get into this on Thursday for the best of, obviously Tar's on the list. When you look at what Todd Field does with that film, the choices that he makes, the edits that are made, the cinematography that he was behind, right? Florian, I forget the cinematographer, but obviously Field was working in tandem with cinematographer here. When you look at the work that you see in front of you, you see a very confident, a very skilled, and a very exacting director, and everything that's in the film is a purposeful shot, and everything flows, even though some of you say it's too long, that flows just perfectly. The story, the entire arc, right? The character arc of Lydia Tar. I won't get any more into it because I feel like we're going to talk a lot about this on Thursday, but it's the best arc of the entire year and the best direction. So when you have screenplay matted to direction, but direction really is about confidence. It's about making interesting choices, really strong choices. Go back and look at X, one of the best directed films of the year, Ty West, more so than Pearl. X has a style and a flair to it that is really a very singular vision. And that's what you're looking for in director, is you don't want a cookie cutter thing, right? You don't want to see a film that looks like it could be directed by anyone, and that would be The Whale. The Whale could be directed by any director. There's nothing about that film that screams to me Darren Aronofsky. So when you watch a film, you're looking for a very specific watermark, right, on the film that tells me that this director who's directing it, that's who it is. And you see that with Babylon, okay? The problem with Babylon is not the direction per se. It's not Damien Chazelle's style. It's the screenplay. So Damien Chazelle, the director, far greater than Damien Chazelle, the writer, because the screenplay of Babylon should never have been made into a film. But as a director, I want Damien Chazelle to do the tech on it. I just don't want him writing the script after Babylon. You're just not going to write. We're just going to have you come in and direct a film. You know what I would do if I was going to reboot Wonder Woman? I would not have him write it. I would have Damien Chazelle direct it and get someone else to write it who really loves Wonder Woman. Patty Jenkins is done. We're done with Patty Jenkins. After 84, it's over, right? Going back to Mission Impossible 7, it's over. It's over after 84. There's no redemption after that. Bring in Chazelle, let him direct Wonder Woman, give someone else the script. Do not let Chazelle write it, not after Babylon. Chazelle needs to just focus on directing. That's it. You're not writing anything anytime soon. The Whale's the deadest movie I've ever seen. I mean, we just destroyed it again. Destroyed it. It's absolutely deserving of that. A film about decadent Hollywood in the 20s should be a layup, right? That's the thing that also makes Babylon easily one of the worst films of the year, because it's also the most disappointing. It is the most disappointing film of the year, Babylon, because you had a director in Damien Chazelle and you had 1920s Hollywood making the transition from silent film to talkies, and you had everything there, and you come up with Babylon. Go back and watch The Artist. The Artist is a much better film, okay? Now, a lot of people, The Artist destroys Babylon. If you want to see a movie about, silent film and what that was like back then, watch The Artist. It's 100 times the film Babylon is. But that's the disappointing part. You figured if Damien Chazelle was going to make a film about 20s Hollywood with Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, this movie is going to be amazing. And then you get to it, and it's the script, because it's this whack, almost like it's the level of tone in that film, and we've talked about it so often with this. I mean, I've done so many streams about Babylon, one that was completely taken off because Paramount was like, you're savaging it and you can't talk about it. So unfortunately, my savaging of Babylon, the true, absolutely venomous stuff that came out of me when I walked out of that screening, that's gone forever. But I'm trying to draw on it. Please come back to me. But when you watch it, you see Chazelle with this, manic film that is just bouncing all over the place with the tone. And if he would have made a film that was grounded in like what Brad Pitt in that scene with Jean Smart, and she tells him it's over, right? His career's over. If that's the whole film, it's more grounded, like take Margot Robbie and make her coming into Hollywood like she was, but don't make it so goofball, right? So like Hail Caesar. Make it more grounded, make it more of a drama, not a comedy, right? That's the problem, is it's got drama, but it's more comedy. So when it tries to do the drama, Babylon's just like, it's just bouncing, and you're just going, my God, this film. And that's where the film could have been corrected. Get rid of almost all the comedy. You can make some of it, but the stuff, the elephant taking a shit on everybody, and then the peeing on people, the opening scene, that whole thing needs to go. That's all gone. Have Margot Robbie driving into LA, driving into Hollywood. I understand that's cliche, but it's still better than the elephant taking a shit on people as the movie starts, right? I mean, give me a like right there. Which is better? The elephant taking a dump, or Margot Robbie driving in from Kansas going, I'm going to be a star? I understand it's cliche, but it's still better. And that's the problem with Babylon. I feel like I should be a script doctor. I'm not saying I can write like perfect, like the dialogue. I'm just telling you, I would look at the script of Babylon and say, get rid of everything in the front and start the scene here. I always bring it back to this: Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems is a great film that is brought down by a structure that doesn't, the beginning of that film needs to be completely truncated. Goodbye, bang. The film opens, Uncut Gems opens with Adam Sandler on the phone. Everything in the colonoscopy is gone. I would argue that, there goes my drink, I just knocked it over. I would argue that even the mining stuff, I don't know if that, I understand what the Safdies are doing. I just don't know if that's where it comes in. I think that you rearrange it. And I saw a film this year, and it's going to come to me at some point. There's a film I saw this year, and I distinctly remember coming out of it going, if you rearrange some things and you bring this here and you put that there, literally it's the same film, but you're going to rearrange how it, the timeline, the film's better. And I feel like that's what I really, really dial in on, is going, first of all, is the scene necessary? And then second of all, what's the best way to get into this? And I can tell you right now, her pulling into Hollywood is a million times better of a film than the elephant taking a dump. And then we go to the hedonistic party and people, golden showers for everybody. What the hell is going on? That's the thing. That is why Babylon is number 2. And frankly, it was so close between Babylon and The Whale. But the reason these are the two, number 1 and 2, is that I had high expectations for both, and both were horrible films. So that's why they're there. I saw a comment here I want to get to about Critics' Choice, because now that I am not in Critics' Choice, I told you guys I've joined HCA. It was my decision to leave. I do not want to be part of Critics' Choice anymore. There's a lot of things I want to get into. But now that I'm removed, I can absolutely do what I want to do and talk about Critics' Choice in a much more unvarnished way. Critics' Choice should be ashamed of themselves for nominating Babylon for director and picture. I could not agree more with that statement. In fact, that was one of the reasons, was absolutely the list of nominations this year was not just disappointing, it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassment for me as a member of Critics' Choice to have the director of one of the best films of the year, the top grossing film domestically here and in the world right now, still over Avatar 2, Top Gun Maverick. You leave Joseph Kosinski out of 10 directors? That's it. I can't support this organization anymore. And you're going to put Damien Chazelle in over Kosinski? There's no way to defend that. So there's a lot of things I want to talk about, but one thing is for sure is that there were a lot of issues with the Critics' Choice nominations, and now I can fully get into it. And the other thing is, truthfully, a lot of the people that I'm calling shills are in Critics' Choice, which makes it very awkward to be a part of an organization that you're calling out members for being shills. But it's true. Critics' Choice says that they're a organization of critics, and then you have a bunch of shills, and you have a bunch of people, frankly, that are not even active, and that's a whole nother topic. But I know that's inside. I know you guys don't want to get into that. But if you ask me a question, I'll tell you about it. But film of we already did that one. 100 times, Singing in the Rain, exactly, better. Everything in the film was done better somewhere else. I have no idea how Aronofsky saw The Whale on stage and said yes. Isn't that true, JM? I mean, it's 100% accurate. How did he watch this play, off-Broadway play, and say, this is the movie that I want to make? What? Like, what? Like, stupid. Jeff, thank you for being a member, by the way. Good to see you here tonight. Dr. Weber, I have a stack of scripts. Just let me look at them. Jeff, just all I want to do is look at the script, and I will tell you, in general, do I think this will make a good movie? I think I have a pretty good track record of saying yes or no on those things. So I think that for me, I'd love the opportunity to do that. And I think I've proven myself over the years of saying, hey, this works, this doesn't work. And one day a studio is going to say, hey, come in and watch this film. What do you like? What do you not like? And if I saw Uncut Gems, I would tell you right now, get rid of the colonoscopy, bring it in on him on the phone, and you can put the mining stuff in later, bring it in after he's on the phone. I like the immediacy of Adam Sandler talking on the phone. Go back and watch Uncut Gems and start it from that scene and go, this is better, right? I love films. And this is one big key thing you want to do with your film if you ever make one, for sure. What I've learned in 10 plus years of doing this. You want to make sure that audience is with you from frame one. So you want to bring it in on something that is going to get you absolutely engaged, totally invested in the film. And, who does that better? James Bond. Everyone was all at the beginning of the Bond film, right? It brings you straight into a scene, and then you've got crazy action, and then boom, here comes the title sequence. That's how you do it. So when I write a film, and I'm in the process of writing one with somebody who's very talented, so I'm looking forward to that. I'll let you guys know this isn't a Stuckman situation. This is going to be, I think this is, actually, I don't even know what he's making. This is going to be good. I promise you this is going to be good. I know it is. I know. I'm 100% certain of it. But you want to make sure that first scene is grab you by the balls, right? Just like, oh, let's go. I'm in. And then we can go. And one of the problems with one of the films this year for sure was Secrets at Dumbledore. The first scene is the two of them, Mads and Jude Law, sitting at the table. And I'm like, my God, what a boring intro to your film. They're having a conversation. No. Have a quick battle. Have something, anything versus that. This is Harry Potter. This is not an awards film. What are we doing here? This is why Warner Brothers should have had me over, and I would have said, you need to make Secrets of Dumbledore, like cut 30 minutes out of it and change this whole thing around. Uncut Gems needed the beginning chopped off. I agree. Scott, thank you. I feel like I'm the only person who's noticed this. The film does not flow well at the beginning with the colonoscopy. I know that's what the Safdies wanted to do. They wanted to bring it back around to the colonoscopy at the end when he gets, shot and he's dead. But it doesn't, it doesn't work. Sometimes these ideas that are in your head conceptually do not translate to the screen. Lord knows we've done plenty of streams before that I think are going to go good and they go horrible. I mean, the vast majority would probably fill in that. But the reality is, when you're making a film, it's not live, right? This is a live show. That you guys know that. Hello. So there's anywhere I go, hey, number 10, number 9, number 8. None of that shit. So this is whatever it is flows. And when you're making a film, though, you're obviously have editing. It's not live, so you can make corrections. And I feel like when you watch the final cut of Uncut Gems, I don't know how you don't see that the colonoscopy is not working. This isn't a stuff. I don't. Listen, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I haven't read what he wants to do. I'm just telling you that what I am writing, it hasn't really officially started. I'm not going to lie to you, but the idea, I'm just letting you guys know, the idea of what this script is, the film is extremely grounded. And I tell you guys all the time, the films I like the most are the ones that feel lived in, that feel like I could walk out of my place and go get into that guy's life, into that girl's life, into that person's whatever. I feel like I can get, it's not like crazy heady sci-fi. It's Tar. The magic of Tar is that you believe that Lydia Tar is real. You think you're watching almost a documentary. That's how good Kate is. That's how good the direction is. The way that film is shot, it feels like a documentary. Those are my kind of films. The Dardenne brothers. Go back to L'Enfant. That's a film that changed me forever. And I know that sounds strange. Like, what a weird, but their style of filmmaking, which is very cinema verite, right? Just documentary style, raw. That's the film that we are going to make. It's going to like that. It's not going to be some crazy, goofy A24 weird shit. It's going to be cool A24. It's going to be After Sun A24, not bodies A24. You know what I'm saying? It'll definitely be more of a Neon or A24 film. I mean, you guys could probably imagine. Those are the films that generally get me the most excited. When I rattle off my top 10, you're going to see most of these films are smaller, intimate, grounded films. I'm not going to lie to you. That's what I like. That's why I expected to think The Whale and love The Whale, because I'm like, a grounded film about a guy who is dealing with being morbidly obese. I'm going to love this. And then the screenplay destroys it. The Whale, I could write. We, as a group, Midnight Movie Talk, could write a better script for Brendan Fraser to play the same character. We could easily rattle off a better script in a day or two. I'm not even kidding you. It's this simple. Take Brendan Fraser, get him out of that apartment. If you haven't seen the film, don't. Trust me, do not see it. But get him out of there. Have him living in a house by himself in the middle of, let's just call Iowa, in the middle of North Dakota. I think he's in Idaho. Whatever, fine, Idaho. But show me the town. Show me him getting into, the cart at Walmart, right? That's the Aronofsky I wanted from The Whale. I wanted the wrestler from The Whale, and I didn't get that. And it's not really Aronofsky's fault. It's the writer's fault of that atrocious screenplay. But ultimately, the one who suffers the most here is Brendan Fraser, who, if he wins Best Actor, will win for one of the worst films ever in a performance. Now, you're going to go back and say, look at Renee Zellweger and Judy. Judy's a much better film than The Whale. Okay, no question. Any performance that's ever won Oscar, I promise you, is better than The Whale. That's how atrocious it is. So that's the real crime here, is that Brendan Fraser delivered an extremely grounded performance in a terrible screenplay. If you give me him trying to get through life in the, what do we call those things? The motorized shopping cart at Walmart. Give me that. I know it sounds a little cliche, but trust me, shot like the wrestler. He's doing that. He's, trying to go in and just live a life. He's morbidly obese. He goes into the 7-Eleven, the gas and go, and he gets his Three Musketeer bars there. The film's already better because you're getting me out of the goddamn apartment. You see, I shouldn't have these things here. I shouldn't have to come up with a better film, and it is. Trust me, what I just said is all better than The Whale. And then have him meet a girl. Well, he's gay in the movie. Fine. Have him meet a guy who he falls for, but the guy is not gay. Okay. And has these feelings that are never going to be reciprocated. This is already a better film than The Whale. Everything I'm laying out there is a million times better. And that shouldn't happen from a guy running a stream live from Los Angeles on a Tuesday night at the end of the year. That shouldn't happen, Hollywood. But yet it is. Because you say, let's make a film as bad as The Whale, the worst film of 2022. It is. It's absolutely terrible. JM, who did Norm say? I got to go back and read what Norm said. So the script it makes you angry. I'm not a screenwriter. Here's how bad The Whale script was. When the film finished, I said, I'm going to write a script that is 10 times better than The Whale. And that's not hard. I mean, anything that you write is 10 times better than The Whale. But it literally is one of those things. You ever watched like someone do something or something and you go, I can't believe that person, like Soups. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. I watched that Soups kid one time and I go, why the hell am I not doing YouTube? Why does that kid have hundreds of thousands of subscribers? And like that guy, or Grace Randolph, God bless, a lot of subscribers. Grace Randolph is okay. I don't think she's that good. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not saying I'm the best ever. I'm just saying when I watch Grace Randolph, I go, I mean, I guess I think I could probably do something like that. So I think that's when I watched The Whale. I said, I think I could write a good script, certainly better than this. But right now we already have the makings of a better script with Fraser living in the middle of nowhere. Let's change it to Iowa so it's not in Idaho. And he's going about his life. And he comes across a guy that it's 100% manipulative. Oh my God, 100%. He comes across a guy that he falls for that's super nice, but he doesn't reciprocate. And there's your tension. And then also, I just think you get rid of Sadie Sink altogether. That character's so poorly executed. If you want to have him have a daughter, you don't have the character play the way Sadie Sink did. But I understand it's not necessarily her fault because the screenplay reads she's a raging bitch the entire time with no modulation. And because of that, Sadie Sink is completely unlikable. And if imagine this, if you had a daughter that was sweeter and nicer and maybe still had some edginess to her because she's young and she's, disaffected and all that crap, then maybe it would work. But the fact is that whole character is terrible because it's one note and it goes back to the writing. The writing is atrocious. I don't know how this was even off Broadway. This should be off. Like it should be playing in Trenton, New Jersey. That's how far off Broadway The Whale is. I mean, it shouldn't even be remotely near Manhattan. It should be maybe not even Jersey. Maybe it should be in rural Pennsylvania. That's how bad. That's how off Broadway The Whale is. I just savaged it again. Give me a like. That was so good. So good. That was out of nowhere. I just came up with a new way to savage The Whale. The Whale felt like one of the fake trailers. Mr. Blinken. Blinken, dude, unbelievable. What a wonderful first thing. That's so good and so true. It's so terrible. Oliver, welcome to the channel. Everyone who's new here, welcome, by the way. You're always welcome to come back. And even if you disagree, some of the comments, I was going to get into a comment someone left, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. I read it and I thought about it. They said, hey, Eric, you're being kind of you're being really nasty about The Whale and Babylon and Fableman, saying people who liked it, you have no tolerance for. I admit, okay, I admit I may have gone a little too far, but listen, remember, it's always done in a kind of a performative style, right? I mean, this is me, but it's elevated, right? Truthfully, I'm totally chill going to a screening and sitting by myself and just being like quiet. Like, ask my friends, we go to movie Twitter over in Burbank. We hang out at a table. I'm not like the guy going, "Hey, everybody, let's do this." Like, like certain critics who walk into screenings and go, "Hey, everybody, how you doing?" That's not me. I come in, I'm really chill. On the stream, I'm gonna amp up things, right? I'm gonna turn it up, but it's still based in truth. I'm just going to amp it a little bit, right? Just like a stand-up comic would. If he's going on stage, you're going to, unless you're Stephen Wright, you amp a little bit. You take what you have and you just take it up a notch. That's my thing. So I think that, that's just what I do. Oliver, let's read it. Grace Randolph has some of the worst takes I've ever heard from any critic. I don't know how she has. I mean, that's the thing. I'm not going to sit here and savage her. I don't watch enough to do that. But what I've seen, when I went and said, hey, I was thinking about, let's start a channel. I've been doing this for a long time. Like, why didn't I do this before? And I said, well, I don't know. I watched her. And it really is one of those things when I watched that and I saw how many people were watching and how many people were commenting, I'm just like, but I don't see it, right? Like, when you watch something and you go, I don't understand how this is so popular, how this is, gained so much traction. And I think that's what it was with me and Grace Randolph. I watched and I just was like, am I missing something? I don't know what part of it I'm missing, because I feel like maybe you guys can fill me in. What am I missing? I don't know what I'm I'm not interested. I'm not interested. That's someone did say that. They go, I defended Grace Randolph like a year ago about something. I remember. Oh, you just want to go out with Grace Randolph. I'm like, why? I mean, guys, listen, I'm not going to hold back as much as I can, but I'm just going to say I'm not really hurting. Okay. I'm not, I have options. Okay. So yeah, nah, not going to happen. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. The Nutty Professor is an unfunny drama. That's about right for The Whale. That's 100% right. Norm, 65% of Rotten Tomatoes, 92% audience. 92%? Yeah, that's the problem, right? People really are excited. By the way, Galia, thank you for the super chat. I want to say that for sure. Thank you. That's the thing about The Whale, is that people are they want to see Brendan Fraser succeed. And we all do. We want to be part of that narrative. It's an amazing comeback story. But we can't let that get in the way of the film being absolutely atrocious, right? You can't let that narrative get in the way. And unfortunately for Brendan Fraser, he delivered a very grounded, authentic performance within a terrible film. And I can't award my best actor to that person. For me, and we'll probably do this in the new year, my Oscars. You guys probably know who my best actor of the year is. I'll just tell you now as a preview of that show whenever we get to it. It's not going to change. My number one actor of the year is Austin Butler. And when you come back to why is Austin Butler my number one performance of the year from the actor side of things? It is because whenever I'm evaluating a performance and saying which performance is stronger and which one am I going to take over the other, I'm always going to defer to the one that was the hardest to perform, the one that required the most out of that actor or actress. And when you look at Elvis and you look at what Austin Butler had to do to play Elvis Presley through the years, to sing, to dance, to be the larger than life persona that was Elvis Presley, Austin Butler is your number one best actor of the year. No contest. It's that simple for me. And I think if you guys have watched every film like I have, you are going to say to yourself, that makes sense. I think you're right. It's Austin Butler. Unfortunately, it's not Brendan Fraser. That's not to say Brendan Fraser can't have another, opportunity to come back and just hope next time he has a good film. Doesn't Grace Randolph also hate Jessica Chastain to the point where it biases? I think, didn't Jessica Chastain came in and said something about her? And in this weird way, if someone let's just say a director like Guillermo del Toro, let's say that I just sent that tweet out today that said, who's the biggest shill? And people were like, oh, Weber's a jerk. And let's just say that Del Toro comes and says, hey, that wasn't cool, or says something rude, whatever. I don't know. Let's just use that example. I'm not going to hate every Del Toro movie going forward. It's never personal, right? It's just not. It's, let's just say if Jessica Chastain said something to Grace Randolph, so what, man? Get over it. Go on to the next movie. The fact that she's even paying attention isn't bad. That's the way I see it. You only get hate when you're over the target, right? You get flack over the target, the old cliche. But the truth is, if you are out there making waves and you're saying things that people agree with and things that are, stirring people up, such as who's a big shill, then the truth is that you're over the target. You are making people uncomfortable. And I don't have a problem with that because it's accurate. It's not like I'm out there saying, who's the fattest critic? Okay. Like that would be ridiculous. And you guys could come after me and say that was stupid. Someone's going to cut that out and say, oh my God, look what he's saying on the stream. Who's the fattest critic? No, but if I was doing that, right? If I sent a tweet saying, or came on here and said, let's count down the 10 most overweight film critics, then that's being a jerk. That's being, you should come after me. That's all that. But when I'm sitting there saying who's the biggest shill, because listen, it's not about someone liking a film versus disliking it. That's different. That's not a shill. A shill is someone who consistently and incessantly says a film is great every single time, only accentuates the positive, never lowers the boom on a film, never savages a film like I did to Babylon, to The Whale, to The Gray Man, to Halloween Ends, to name any of the films we picked tonight. They don't do that because they're shills. So there's nothing wrong with saying that. There's nothing personal about that. It's the truth, and it might be uncomfortable, but most truths are uncomfortable, most of them, right? That's the unfortunate part, is that when you really look at things, and even the other day when I read the comment that said, hey, Eric, you're going a little too hard. You made me not a fan. I understand that. I get it. And I listened, and I'm right. A lot of people were like, screw you. I don't need you. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying I hear you. But if I do a shill stream, so be it. Like, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but logically, some things she'll rant about makes zero sense. I mean, we could do Grace Randolph. I mean, the thing is that I think that's okay. Here's what I'm going to say, and then we'll button it with Grace Randolph for now. I don't think she's a shill because I've seen her rail on films or say they're not good, so I can't call her a shill. I'll be honest with you guys. The other people we talked about, we can. But one thing I will say about Grace Randolph, if you hear takes that are bad, listen, I have takes, and you might not agree with them, but they're not bad. Like, bad take would be something like, okay, here's a bad take. Oh my God, Damien Chazelle has never made a good film, right? There's a terrible take. There's a take that tells me you don't know what you're talking about. But when I come out here and say, Damien Chazelle's had 3 great films, 2 really, really strong films, and 1 pretty strong film directorially for sure, and then you have Babylon, then you guys go, this guy's knows what he's talking about. He's smart. He knows what he's doing. But when Grace Randolph, you get on there and you start talking about something you don't know, I don't know what she said, but whatever then you know that the person that's the issue too, is if you're going to come on here and do a stream, you better have your shit together and know what you're going to talk about and know a lot about these things. And certainly you had to have seen the film. I mean, that's the thing I don't do is obviously talk about a film I haven't seen, because that would be ridiculous to say, oh, a film looks terrible. Now, granted, I might have said that in the past. I'm not going to lie to you. But I will change my mind if when I see the film is good. There's been plenty of films I saw the trailer and then I go, I don't know about this, and I see the movie, I go, oh, okay, that's great. But this year, 2 trailers that I was really like, this isn't looking good, and they ended up both in the bottom 10 of the year. Amsterdam and Babylon. Both those trailers told me we're in trouble, because trailers are supposed to sell you the best of the film, right? You got to be able to come up with 2 minutes of good material out of your film and be able to package that into something that makes you want to go see it. And you couldn't with Amsterdam, and you definitely didn't with Babylon. And then you go, uh-oh, they couldn't even make a good trailer. We're in trouble. But you still walk into the film like I did in Beverly Hills back in mid-November when I watched Babylon, going, it's Damien Chazelle. It's 1920s Hollywood. This is going to be good. Pitt and Margot Robbie, and here it is. And then you just go, no. You know it when you see it, and you have to be accurate and fair and just know that what you're feeling is representative of you've done it long enough. You know that you're Evaluation is dead on. And it turns out I was the first, I might have been the first person to tweet about Babylon and tell you that it was a tonal disaster, a flaming hot mess. I said that before there was one single person commenting. And that takes conviction, that takes experience, and then knowing what you just watched is terrible. And that's what I think a lot of people maybe need work on. And you have to be fearless. It's like the video that's pinned to my Twitter page where I talk about Siskel and Ebert being fearless, being absolutely unafraid of what other people think of you. And you are not giving two shits about being part of a crowd. You want to be your own individual thinker and objective and no agenda. And that's how you do it. So go back and look. My first reaction, look, hold on. I'm going to dig it up. My first reaction to Babylon was the first reaction out. No, there was no one else. So no one could ever accuse me. And I've told you, I never do this. I never look at other people's opinions until I see it and then I go with mine, because I don't want to be tarnished. I don't want to have anything in my head that's going to say, wait a second, I didn't see this. No, I'm going to say I either saw it or I didn't, and this is what it is. Here it is. Right now, this is the tweet I sent back on, did I lose it? Hold on one second. Back on November 14th. So this was the first reaction out of Babylon. November 14th, 9:44. This is seconds after Babylon, the first screening, the world premiere screening, not the technical world premiere where the stars are there, but it was the first official unveiling of Babylon. I have some really, really bad news to share with you. Babylon's a flaming hot mess, a tonal disaster, easily Damien Chazelle's worst film and one of the worst films of 2022 with the skull death emoji. The first, no one had tweeted about it. Do you know the balls that takes to come out with that tweet? You guys, that's what I bring to the table. To come out of that screening, the first screening, not knowing what the reaction was going to be. I didn't know if people would say it was great. I didn't think they'd say it was as good as they did, but I didn't think, who knows? Maybe some people thought it was a masterpiece. But I came out of the theater. I walked down the stairs bitching about how terrible it was. And then I sent the tweet. And I was the first person. So what I'm saying is if you question me and being a shill, you're an idiot. That's it. That's in a nutshell. This tweet tells you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Come at me with something else. Come on, bring it in. Bring in something else. Bring in something other than shill, because this is not shill. Can you imagine Eric Davis sending this? Can you imagine Scott Mann sending this? Pete Hammond? No. Why? Why wouldn't any of those three send the tweet you're looking at? Someone help me in the comments, everybody, because all three of them are shills. And that's just the reality of it. Shills don't do this. Shills do not walk out of movies and gut them, nuke them, savage them like that. Like, please, come on. But it's true. So come on, guys. Come on. Amsterdam was hugely disappointing. You got all those stars. You got David O. Russell. Let's go with another 10. I'm going to go another 10 minutes. We'll go 1.5. 1.5 tonight because it was the worst of the year. I feel like it was a fun night. You guys are really great in the comments, by the way. All of you, give yourself a star. Give yourself a gold star. Jeff, I dug The Fabelmans, but I can't argue with your take. Objectively, it's problematic, but it hit the right course for me as a Jewish kid. I hear that over and over. If you're Jewish, that film hits you differently, and so did Armageddon Time. I've heard that from multiple people. Jewish kid from the Midwest with filmmaking dreams and a crazy Jewish mom. Yes. Again, right, every experience in After Sun with me will resonate. But the problem is even not being Jewish, even not having some of those things in my life, I still feel like you can still make it feel authentic and not artificial and just feel grounded. And The Fabelmans does not do that. I think that Armageddon Time, for all of its flaws, is a superior film. It's just a mid film. It's just a very unfortunate, forgettable film from James Gray, who gave us the, I would argue, sci-fi pretty much certainly a visual masterpiece in Ad Astra. It's one of the best films that I can remember of recent. No, when you think about films that just blow you away on first viewing, Ad Astra is one of those. Tar is one of those. These are the films that are going to be in my top 3 of the year in any given year. Parasite, obviously going back, Social Network, Drive. These are films that just go boom. Aftersun, whoa, you're just absolutely obliterated by the power of what you just watched. And Ad Astra is one of those films. And James Gray, unfortunately, just didn't quite get it done there with Armageddon Time. But I think it's better than Fabelmans. But I understand how some people have. Listen, mileage will vary, but not on the whale. No, not on the whale. No, the mileage cannot vary on the whale. All right, T-minus 10 minutes. It takes in 10 minutes. That's it. Randolph also leaked multiple stories about James Gunn projects and actively shut her down publicly on Twitter. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, well, listen, if you're going to have a leak that she had sourced and she said that James Gunn, and then he's of course they're going to take away access. So I will say this about Grace Randolph from what I know, is that I would say she's pretty fearless. She'll say some things that I think are pretty gutsy. So I give her credit. I think there's something there. I mean, that's certainly my whole MO, is saying things like you just saw with the Babylon tweet, is that, hello, gutsy as hell. I mean, that's reckless. That's borderline reckless, doing what I just did there in that tweet back in November. I mean, Paramount was pissed. Paramount was angry with that stream that night. So don't ever call me a shill. Like, that's just, you're proving how dumb you are when you say that. Or ignorant, whatever word you want to use. You don't know what you're talking about. Come with some knowledge. Say something like, your jerseys fit too tight. It depends on the fit. This one's a little bit fitted. Whatever that is, that's okay. Say that I have skinny legs. That's fine. That's at least in the realm of truth. But calling me a shill? Come on. Of all of the things, like, come on, guys. Eddie, a shill doesn't tell you what they really think. Exactly. That's a shill, because they can't. Because if they told you what they really think, they would lose precious access. They would not be allowed to do their precious Q&As. They would not be able to do these things because the studio would say, you destroyed Babylon, so we can't let you. Well, so be it. You guys, listen, I told you, when I do the film thing, if it goes away, it goes. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. I'm just not. Like, it's not access to these films. Guess what I have? I have AMC A-List. If I need to, I will just go see the films. I don't care. What, I mean, what's it matter? It doesn't. So that's the whole thing, is some of these people are so like into the access and all this, they just want the 10 most overweight film critics. I got 10 minutes. I got to have a little sip of my favorite sponsor break. Clear American Black. This is the best seltzer water on the planet. Sold only at Walmart. If you buy this and if it's not at my Burbank Walmart because you bought it, swear to God, I will hunt you down, because this is my favorite drink. I love this stuff. 0 calories. Tastes like real sugar. And it kind of matches with tonight's kit. And look at the background, right? The purple. Listen, Jeff Wells. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Jeff Wells for a moment. Let's just talk about it, because I think this is an interesting thing. I'm glad you brought it up. We're going to do a stream at some point. I know this is going to be very niche. First of all, MMT is niche. I get it. But we're going to do a stream about Critics' Choice and a lot of things they've done that I do not agree with, okay? Because now that I'm not there, I can do this. I think what Scott Menzel is a very good friend. I'm not going to, obviously, I have to admit that openly. But I think that what HCA does, the membership in that group, I might not get along with everyone in the group, but I value that each one of those members, and I do believe this, every one of the members is at least heavily invested in what they do, and they're very passionate about what they do. And I can't say the same for Critics' Choice. I think we have a bunch of shills. I think we have a bunch of inactive members, and that's an issue. But go back to Jeff Wells. Okay, so Jeff Wells, if you guys don't know, runs, I believe, a site called Hollywood Elsewhere, if I'm not mistaken. I don't read it. I've read it once or twice, but I don't read it on a consistent basis. He had a blog saying a friend of a friend or some source told him something that was racist of some level. I mean, people construed it as that. I don't have the exact thing in front of me, but either way, whatever. So you know how that gets. Everyone's like, oh, Jeff Wells, this guy, I don't like him. Kind of like, people throw me in there too about that. Eric Weber, I'm like, well, what did I do? I just don't like him. Oh, well, that's not enough. You can't, here's the thing. let's spin out of Wells for a second. You can't just because you don't like someone decide, let's cancel them. It doesn't work like that. You don't get to do that. You don't have that power. I'm certainly not going to cede it to you. So you can go ahead and that's not happening. Okay. If you don't like someone, you don't have the right to say they're out of there. And a lot of people didn't like Jeff Wells, right? They thought, oh, I'm just waiting for him to write something. And I'm not defending what he wrote. You guys need to understand this as I say this. It's like when we have these conversations, there's always an opportunity for someone to go, well, look what he said. But I always take it away because I need to make sure that that's stated before someone goes, well, no. Jeff Wells gets essentially booted out of Critics' Choice for what he wrote. And people were just waiting for that. Oh, Jeff Wells is a jerk. I've seen people take pictures of him at screenings going, this guy. And I'm like, well, first of all, what did Jeff Wells ever do to you guys? Like, how are you that personally invested with somebody that you want to see them like destroyed? It's very strange to me. Now, I can understand if Damien Chazelle was like that Weber guy, that's different. But if you read a tweet that says who's the biggest shill and you come in and go, you're all riled up by that, I'm like, we need to get more of a fruitful life for you because it's not that big of a deal. And I'm certainly, as you can tell by the way I'm talking about, not big. But I think what Jeff Wells had happened to him by Critics' Choice was not cool. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not saying I agree with what happened to him, but I do not think that what he did warranted being booted. And good for him. I have met him before. He seems like a nice enough guy. I don't like this whole, I don't agree with you, therefore you're canceled. God knows that people try to do that. Try to cancel me and my mullet. I don't think so. By the way, that's a mullet. I don't care what you guys say. The mullet's there. I'm not going to even entertain, just like I won't entertain the whale defense. I will not entertain you guys telling me I don't have a mullet. It's not going to happen. Gene Siskel was the definition of not a shill. And he didn't like Terminator, Aliens, and freaking Predator. I've said this before, saying it here again tonight. If there's one film critic that shaped who I am, I think it was a person. It's Gene Siskel. I used to, as a kid, watch at the movies, Siskel and Ebert, every incantation, every version of that show that we possibly could have, I watched with Ebert and Siskel and Ebert. And Gene Siskel, of the two, was the guy that I love his mind. And what I loved about Gene Siskel was what you said there, not a shill. He just savaged films, and he was always speaking from the heart. And I think when you watch MMT, you're going to see a lot of that because that's who I think I've turned into in a way, is certainly channeling that spirit. Now, people will say, well, you do things that are not, as professional as Gene Siskel. Well, that might be true. But at the same time, it's also 2022. We live in a different world with social media. We live in a world that demands that if you want to have people pay attention to you, you need to amp up things just slightly. And that's kind of what I've done, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But it's always still based in the truth, the ethos of Gene Siskel, which is not a shill. And you guys can't say I'm a shill. Less than five. Shills have eyes. Don't you feel like you blew your chance at an interview with Margot Robbie? I've talked to Margot Robbie at Critics' Choice. I told you she's stunning. She is drop dead, just like Elizabeth Olsen and numerous others, but those two in particular. We don't do interviews here. Like studios always say, hey, do you want this director? Do you want to talk to somebody? Do you want to do a 5-minute interview? This show is very hard to do. Like, obviously I can't do this show and interview directors because the chances are I'm going to hammer a film. I'm going to have to cancel the interview because I can't do the interview. That's why shills, if they do that, they have to be a shill because to have the access, you have to say the good things. And that's why I do this. And I don't do a show where we have, okay, Ahmed, I'm not going to listen. No, I'm overconfident. No, it's not overconfident. It's confident. It's not overconfident. It's confident. Narcissistic's not. No, it's just, listen, I'm telling you guys, I'm just letting you guys know something. Please listen to this, but it's fine. Look, I'm reading the comment. Is that this is meant to, when I show things like doing jumps, when I show things like me at the gym, it's not, I swear, listen, you've got to trust me on this. Give me a Bible. It is not about narcissism. It is about inspiring you to go get it yourself. Okay. When I posted this today, I'm doing this to say, you can do this. You get out there and you do this because it's possible for you, even with skinny legs like me. It's not about, look at me, I'm so great. That's the wrong approach. That's the approach that tells me that maybe you aren't doing things. Because if you're doing things, you watch that and you say to yourself, badass, I want to do that. Versus, oh, look at that guy. Like someone said someone said in the comments today to this tweet, I got to find it, the guy, we need to bring back bullying. I'm like, wait, what? Like, who even says that after looking at that? I can tell you who says that. Here's who says that after watching the tape of me jumping. If you say we need to bring back bullying, that tells me you're unremarkable. It tells me you're not doing anything in your life. That tells me that you are threatened by someone who's doing something. Don't be like that. Use this, whatever it is, as your motivation to make yourself better. Go to the gym, eat better, get a good night's sleep. Be confident. There's nothing wrong with any of those things. Not overconfident, confident. That's what we're teaching here. Confidence. Overconfident is like, then you don't have the stuff to back it up. Being confident is knowing you have what it takes and you're going to step into, as I say in football terms, step into the hole as the middle linebacker and make the tackle, right? You're going to do that. And that's what this is, confidence. All right. We only have like another minute or two. Eric the Brain Weber, maybe a script. Solomon, I'm available. At some point, I'm going to charge, though. I can't just do it for free because I'm going to make your movie better. I'm going to watch your film and I'm going to make it better by, I say, do this, this, and this, and the film's better. And then you're going to hand me money because it's going to be a better film. Never listen to someone not doing, exactly. Thank you, Ken. That's the thing. Use it as motivation. Not like, oh, this guy, look at him shirtless. Like, no. The jump's remarkable, stunning. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, why don't you just say, this is great? My God, I'm not 25 anymore and I'm still doing this shit because I'm busting my ass. That's how you look at that. You don't look at it and go, someone needs to bully him. I'd love to see you in person, bro, because I guarantee you're nobody. Not you guys, the guy who said that. When the mullet becomes too long, it is kind of, listen, guys, it is kind of a faux hawk thing going on, but I'm just going to let it grow because I told you after watching Lost Boys, we're going to let it grow, and then we'll see what happens. Oliver, last question of the night. I want to make sure hold on. I want to make sure before I go, by the way, Fico in Puerto Rico, I did not read your super chat the other night. And if you're watching now, if you're not, either way, I'm going to send you a tweet. Thank you for sending the super chat. I really appreciate it. I think I got to the super chats tonight. Go all the way back. Gosh, there's so many comments now. The channel's grown, man. It's like, I love it. The channel was, before we had a good little, now we got like a lot of you and it's super awesome. I appreciate everyone being here. Are the posters behind you all movies? No, these, okay. So for those of you who have not new to the channel, I guess we'll do this as we close. These are all FYC screeners. So here's All Quiet on the Western Front. The studios send me these as awards voter and editor-in-chief of Awards Ace, and they want you to have a DVD. So this is All Quiet on the Western Front, the Netflix movie, and so there's the inside, and then look, so there is the, hold on, where's the DVD? It's in here somewhere. It's like really tucked in here, this one. Let me pull it. There it is. Okay, so the DVD's inside, and then so what happens is I take the DVDs out. I have a stack of DVDs in front of me, as a matter of fact. Here they are. Let me show you. This is the thing you don't get anywhere else. So here's a stack. Here's a stack of DVDs that I took. All the DVDs are out. So here's all the DVDs. Some of them from what you see behind me, right? There's Tar. And then what I do is I will just obviously stamp that sucker up there like that. But here's the thing is that I don't think it's going to get up there. I mean, I like the film. It's just, I think right now, if you look behind me as we close here tonight and get ready for Thursday night for the best stuff, when you look at the screeners, these are all films that either I feel very passionate about, or they were big awards films, they're major films. There's nothing you see up there other than The Fabelmans, which is what you see Fabelmans up there. That's not a film I love. You guys know I just put it on the worst. But it's a major film by Steven Spielberg, so of course it has a place. 1917's up there. You can see Florida Project. It's up there. There's an It FYC. Like, Moneyball. Love Moneyball. So when you see all those, Tar's Blu-ray. Someone just asked me, is a Blu-ray. This one's Blu-ray, but most of them are not. Most of them are just regular straight-up DVDs. They basically don't even send them out. No one watches these. They just send them to get you to physically have something, tangential. Something tangent. have it in your hand, right? So this is actually, you got it, right? So this, it's not tangential. The word's literally evading me right now. This, these things get sent to me and I put them up on the wall. So yeah, exactly. You guys are so good. Establish your script doctor rates. I have a script that'll make both of us some folding money. Let's do lunch. I'm totally down for that, Jeff. I will look at it and I will tell you. Great question. A couple more here. Tangible. Thank you. Good Lord. Tangent. I knew it was there. I'm just literally like, at this point, I've done the stream now for an hour and a half. It's over. Oh, wait. Now you guys come in. You're making me stay on for another minute because now you're going to bring in, I've got a super chat. So I have to do it. Where's the Parasite screener? Parasite is part, here's the problem with the Parasite. Parasite is part of the whole, it was part of the Neon like year in. So it's, you can't extract it and put it on the wall. Otherwise it'd be up there for sure. Parasite, it would be up there. Okay, CD Stein, here you go. We've got a super chat before we get ready to shut things down. If there's a super chat, I can't stop. It's one of the rules of MMT. Applies to a lot these days. Go in with no preconceptions. Be objective. Call balls and strikes if they're actually balls and strikes. Do better. 100%, CD Stein. That's all this is. It's objective. It's don't be a shill. And again, if I've called you a shill here tonight, then don't be a shill. It's not that it's not that hard. Oh no, let's save everything everywhere all at once for Thursday. I don't want to go into that because we're gonna do that on Thursday. It's not gonna be one of the best of, but I do want to talk about that film because I know it's on a lot of best of lists. But as you guys know, it's time to wrap the show. It is now, we've been on for an hour and a half. That's a long time. So live from Los Angeles, we're going to cut the show, but we'll be back on Thursday for the 10 best films. So everyone who says, you're so mean, you just did the 10 worst films. Oh my God, that guy is so insufferable. You'll have a best of list on Thursday. I'm sorry if I made people really sad tonight by telling you that your movie is not good. I'm so sorry. I mean, come on, guys. I mean, Siskel and Ebert did worst of all the time, and no one said Siskel and Ebert were mean. Come on. See you back here on Thursday for MMT Best of 2022. We are out live from Los Angeles. See you Thursday. Good and night.